inside the blade, 60 inches outside the blade, and a 50-inch cutting height. The table is 57 inches long. We have a movable backstop or fence with a linear scale and pointer to set the length of your cut. Now this saw is OSHA approved. It requires both hands on the push buttons, and you have a full operator shield between the operator and the blade. The shield folds back for blade changing, for setting the cutting height, and checking the blade or whatever. Now to change the blade, the table breaks apart at this point. The inside rail lifts up, the blade passes between the rail and the leg. All of your covers hinge open. This also provides easy access to the wheels for cleaning. Your blade tensioner located on the left side of the saw down at the bottom. Turning the tensioner clockwise tightens the blade, counterclockwise loosens the blade. We'll preset the blade here at the shop before we deliver the saw. When we get around to the side here, you can see how the roll of material sits in the cradle between the backstop and the movable fence. Saw loads from this side. Now this fence will move in and out for the different size rolls. If you're cutting smaller rolls like the one just on the saw, you can cut 2 rolls at a time by moving it all the way back. And you can also remove this V-gate to cut planks, flat sheets of cardboard, foam, or whatever. Okay, we're going to make a couple of cuts here so you can kind of see how the saw operates. So we're going to set the fence here at 6 inches. Reach over and lock it down so it doesn't move on you. Pull the table all the way back, away from the blade. Move your roll of material up against the fence. Place both hands on the push buttons. Start the saw. Advance the material through the blade. And when you completed your cut, remove your hands from the push buttons. The blade stops. You reach over, roll the material off the back of the saw. And what we have here is a perfect 6-inch cut with no deviation whatsoever from the blade hitting the cardboard core. And we're going to make another cut. Pull the table back. Advance your material up to the stop. Place both hands on the push buttons. Move the material through the blade. Reach over, roll the material off the back of the saw. Now the number of cuts you can make depends upon your operator, his dexterity and speed. I have one customer that cuts 15 truckloads a day on one saw. See how easily the fence moves back? back and forth with the hand crank. Move your table forward, you can easily reach the blade guide. This will raise up to a height of 50 inches, and it'll also come down to within about 16 inches of the table. You need to keep the guide as close to the cut as you can at all times. Now this crank moves the V-gate in and out for changing your different size rolls. Now this saw has a 2 horsepower motor, and you can get it in either 3-phase or single phase, 110 or 220. The way the saw is geared, it runs approximately 3,200 feet a minute. And we'll furnish this saw to you with 4 blades. We have 3 foam blades and 1 blade for cutting cardboard. We also have a reliable source for the blades. The blades are relatively inexpensive. They cost approximately $15 a piece right now. And they should last you several weeks, depending on how much you use the saw. Now here you can see a good look at the cut pieces in the roll. We'll walk around here to the back of the saw so you can see the construction. It's heavy gauge tubular steel, angle iron construction. This one has a single phase motor on it. You can see the capacitors there. Your magnetic starter, your blade your power disconnector on the back of the saw. You also get a good look at the blade guide from this angle. It has ball bearings on either side of the blade and a ball bearing behind the blade. Keep this down as close to the cut as you can. There'll be very little, if any, deflection when you go through that material. The table is covered with a melamine finish, so the material slide on it easily. Also, it's easy to keep clean.